Yo, what's popping? I am here to do my week 16, I think, power rankings. Yeah, week 16 power rankings. Got the new hat back home, not in Newfoundland. This is the Defiant hat, but you can barely see it. Um, and that's good news because Defiant are doing pretty well right now. So good timing. Anyway, starting off with the West region, coming in at a big number. What is it? 13. We have, to nobody's surprise, the Paris Eternal. Even with an upgraded team, they're still really bad. They just got rolled by Kai. They got rolled by Atlanta straight up. Kai had a 69% railgun accuracy across 3 maps. Just give up. I was banking on, oh, they have the scrim experience. They know this meta. They'll and Atlanta look really bad. They'll come through. No, they just look horrible. Like, I'm sorry, Paris, you're not good. It's okay. There's no Paris fans left anyway, so no one cares. They just don't look good. They're a free win for anyone who gets them. So that's all there is to say. Now, moving down pretty significantly is the Florida Mayhem. So Florida, I think they kind of trolled all of us in week one because, well, actually London trolled us in week one by running the Sombra, letting Florida win. And that led me to put them, because I was like, oh well, they just beat Florida. I can't put them above Florida, or I can't put them below Florida in the power rankings. I really did want to, or London rather. I really wanted to put Florida below London last week, but I was like, oh, but they just won. How can I justify that? I can justify it because fucking London played Sombra and it looked really bad. And now Florida looked lost. They got 3-0 by Shock the previous week, and this week they just get rolled by Washington, who have a week of scrim time with Kalios, basically, and Assassin. And Decay on the Sojourn on the Ash goes kind of crazy. Like, goddamn. But Florida look completely lost. They don't have a clue. And they have dropped pretty significantly from what is that, from 6 to 12 in my rankings. That's just it. Another team that is dropping pretty significantly, coming in at number 11, is the New York Excelsior. So some people got very trolled by New York because they were like, New York top 5, they're looking pretty good, it's their time. Ansu J brings new life to this team. Kellen's looking solid. I still think Kellen's looking much better than he has the rest of this stage. No doubts there. I think Kellen's looking better than he has. But New York as a team still cannot do anything other than Yaki, basically. It all comes back to Yaki. And this is a decent meta for Yaki to do things, especially with Kellen, but New York just don't got it. Ansu J playing on ping doesn't help. But they just look like they had like it was a complete fluke that they looked at all decent last week. Basically, is what it looked like to me. Classic New York looked good for a week and then go back to looking really bad, and I don't see that really changing. I don't know how they downgraded so heavily. It's really impossible to explain how they look. Like, they were supposed to look decent. I rated them above Vancouver, but they just got rolled. And I don't know if you want to attribute that to Vancouver looking better. I don't think they really did. New York just blown up, but you know what? Honestly, they still look better than Florida. So shout out to them for that. Coming in at number 10 is the Boston Uprising. So they're staying in the same spot as they were, but I actually think they got worse. So they bring in Mag from Washington Justice, and Mag looked like a better Junker Queen than Punk in week 1. He did. Mechanically, he was doing more, I think. However, now this could be Doomer too, because Boston lost to Shock and Dallas, who were top 2 in the last PR, still top 2 in this one. It's a little bit of a spoiler there. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So maybe Doomer, but I think this team did look better with Punk in it, and you can say, oh, but now they're all Korean, so the communication's better. You'd think, but whatever's happening, Punk makes that team better. I don't know if it's the leadership, if it's the decision making, the shot calling, whatever it is. Even if Mag is a better Junker Queen, like mechanically, Punk makes Boston look better. Now, I'm willing to give this another week because Mag should be a better fit here. You would think that a full Korean communication would be preferred, right? I'm willing to give Boston another week because they played like the top 2 teams right now. So they get a little bit of a pass. And first week with Mag. But you got to watch out for that, because if Mag struggles in this meta right now, He doesn't have a prayer in the next one, in the next stage, whatever meta that is. It could still be Junker Queen because there are Junker Queen nerfs, but we don't know what's going on there at all. So I don't know. Boston, I'm a little worried for, but also I don't think it's the end of the world. Coming in at number, I don't know what number we're on. Is this 9? Number 9 is actually going to be the Atlanta Reign. I'm not sold on Atlanta yet. So I bumped them up. And yes, they look dominant against Paris, but it's Paris, right? It's Paris. I don't do tier breaks because I think they're kind of like, I don't know. I don't bother with them. But there would be a tier break probably between Paris and Florida. That's how bad they've been. Atlanta do roll them, but Kai has a 69% weapon accuracy through the whole match. Which is like whenever you do that, you're going to look good against any team. And I think that Paris just played poorly into him. There were lots of times where Malthel would be caught. No, not Malthel. My apologies. Where Dove would be caught jumping and stuff, and Malthel would make some interesting plays. It's just Kai, right? It's just Kai. So I don't know if I'm willing to rate Atlanta that highly. I think they can because they did look better as a team. Hawk, Junker Queen looks better. But I'm not willing to put them much higher after a catastrophic week 1 just because they beat the Paris Eternal and Kai popped off. I'm not willing to put them much higher. I think they can climb higher. I think they can still make the summer showdown, the summer showdown. But I'm not putting them any higher right now. Coming in at, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Coming in at number 8 is going to be the Houston Outlaws. So Houston looked pretty damn well. Okay, they didn't look good in week 1. They looked, Mara and Pelican looked good. They looked great even. But they had some pretty core issues with the roster. Their ultimates were usually not getting as much value as they should. And that was the biggest thing. It was pretty poor ult usage overall. But Pelican and Mara were able to bail them out. Against London? No. Just not. They looked really bad. That was maybe the worst Houston Outlaws performance of this season. And it was tragic. I'm giving them a little slack because they should have beat New York week 1. And they did beat the Gladiator. So who I may have a controversial opinion on. We'll see. I don't know what people are thinking on the Gladiators, but most people might already have the Gladiators down here because they're 0-4, but get into that later. I think Houston have the ability to be good, but I kind of feel some mental boom coming from them because they've just traded Iris for creative, right? Which is a downgrade, right? It simply is a downgrade. Iris has been playing better this season. And maybe you're not too worried about it because they have Lastro and Lep, and maybe they're just going with that, and it's a budget cut or whatever it is. They got worse from this trade. And it's kind of sad. I don't think they got much worse, but I think they did definitely get worse. So Houston gonna be tanked quite a bit. I think they can bounce back, but I also am watching them closely to see if they're going to plummet and mentally implode on themselves and shoot themselves out of a summer showdown. Because I think that's very possible. Because whatever's going on in Houston, Pelican's not happy. Whenever your star player is not happy, bad things happen. Bad things can happen. They tend to. So I'm keeping a close eye on Houston with that one. Did I just move something? Oh, I did. Okay, I forget already. Doesn't matter. It's going to be the Washington Justice. So Washington had a good week 1. They get rid of 3 of their players. They get rid of their starting Junker Queen Mag. They get rid of their starting Brig Vigilante. And they get rid of Happy, their starting Sojourn / Hitscan. Decay steps up for Happy. Doesn't miss a beat, honestly. Kalios maybe he's a little worse than Mag, but he still looked solid. And Krillin to Vigilante this season so far has not been an issue at all. I think they're basically shown the same level of skill. Krillin has more experience with the team right now, with the scrim time going, because Vigilante didn't come in until halfway through stage 2. So I don't think that's even a loss, really. I'm okay with Krillin the whole time. And Washington looked like they didn't really miss a step. I think the players are kind of pissed off. I think they're kind of playing to prove their franchise wrong, which is always something to watch out for. And they might have kind of a storm brewing to stick it to the man kind of thing. Now, we do have to take this with a grain of salt because they beat Florida, and I said Florida looked horrible, and they 3-0'd Florida. But And you see, oh well, they 3-0 Florida. Why are you shooting them so far? Because I was waiting for the impending explosion of Washington. It wasn't a full on explosion. They were controlled explosives. They were only blowing up parts of the rock, not the whole mountain. So that's why they boost up so much off of a win that was quite easy. But I'm moderately hopeful for Washington right now. We'll see if that keeps up because it's Washington. But I like it. I like what I'm seeing. And I'm cautiously optimistic is the word. Coming in at number 6 is the London Spitfire. So this might be lower than some people have London. And it's not that they're playing bad. I think London's playing great. And they're looking great. After that small somber stint, which no problem there. They beat, I forget who they beat. The other team was in Boston. It was Boston, wasn't it? Hold on. It was Boston. Yeah, they 3-0 Boston, they 3-0 Houston, and they call it a day. And they look good doing it. But Houston looked really bad, and Boston's not the best. So we do have to take that with a grain of salt. However, they're looking very crisp. It's looking like they are still doing what they were doing on the Reinhardt. I like what they're doing with the May. I think backbone on the May is a great adjustment that they're making to fit the benefits of the team, their strengths, even because backbone May is incredible. We know that. He's hitting good right clicks. His blizzards are good. His walls are good. And they're playing it, and they're not just playing it everywhere. They're playing it on the right maps, which is very important. And backbone on the Genji is honestly doing all right. I don't think he's like popping off. I don't think he's phenomenal, but he's good enough. In combination with Sparker being one of the best Sojourns in the West. So I don't have any problems with London right now. I don't know if they're fully tested because, again, it's a Houston that looked pretty damn bad and a Florida that looked like they didn't know what game they were playing. So, oh wait, no, it wasn't that Florida. That Florida knew what game they were playing. It was London that didn't know what game they were playing. My apologies on that one. But I don't know. I'm not sold on London yet. I think I could be, and I think they haven't. There's no reason to doubt them right now. But I'm going to place them 6 because I'm still putting the LA Gladiators top 5, even though they are 0-4. Now, hear me out. They've lost to Shock, they've lost to Dallas, they've lost to Toronto, and they lost to Pelican and Merit. That Pelican and Merit loss is probably what sets them out of the top, the Summer Showdown as a tournament. But this team is not a bad team. They got a very hard schedule, right? For this specific meta, Toronto is better than anyone thought they would be. Dallas is looking like, Dallas where they're just, this is like Dallas meta, and Shock is Shock, right? Yes, Gladiators are underperforming. This is a failed stage. They should be better than those teams. But they're not, just because their expectations aren't matching what we expect from them doesn't mean they're not top 5, I think. And I don't think I think they're still going to try to win these because even though they don't get into the Summer Showdown, maybe that's still a crucial point because they're going to want the highest seed they can. Every single match is a point that's the same as making the tournament and not placing top 3, right? They're going to fight for these wins. I think they're solid, right? And yes, they're making some pretty bad mistakes. There are some mispositionings. There are some questionable usages of all at times. Reiner Junker Queen is not foolproof. It is not looking super strong. Maybe I should put London. I'm kind of selling myself and putting London above them right now. Maybe I should have. But you know what? I'm going to stick with it because they still are a pretty damn good team. They still played a pretty close series against those teams, against their Dallas, against their Shock, against their Toronto. Like, they weren't all 3-2s, but they were still close games. So it came down to the wire. And they're still the Gladiators at the end of the day. No, this is not the stage they were hoping for, but I don't think it's not over for them. They're not a trash team. I wouldn't put them anywhere lower than London. I would that top 6 is as low as I would be willing to put Gladiators at all. Maybe London should be ahead of them. I kind of sold myself on that right now, but don't care. Number 4 is going to be the Vancouver Titans. So, yeah, Vancouver. They look pretty damn good. And maybe I'm rating them too high also, but They play Toronto close, who is in the top three, as we noticed that they're not there. They beat Paris. Well, of course they do. And they beat New York, who we thought would be good, but they played really bad. So the wins maybe don't back up what's happening, really, because those are two pretty free wins. And then a pretty damn close series that, you know what? If they played that series second, they probably win that, honestly, because King kind of messed up a bit, right? Multiple times in that final round that went 99-99. But this is exactly what you want from Vancouver. You have Aspire being a crazy person on the Sojourn. King is playing very solid Genji. I'm not going to call him popping off. He's not a Kevster. He's not even. I wouldn't even put him Aldo. I think him and Aldo are like kind of similar, but I would put Aldo ahead of him still. But he's good enough that he's not a liability that he won't be a liability anymore moving forward. Where he hasn't been in the last two matches at least. So calm down there. And the back line honestly looks very good. Masa's looking back to grand finals form. Aztec, I have no problems with Aztec either. And Mirror is a pretty damn good Junker Queen. So I'm willing to bet on these Vancouver Titans. They are kind of riding the wave. I think they're going to be building more and more momentum as they go forward. They are fighting for every single one. They know they need every point they can get to get themselves out of the bottom three. You have other teams faltering around them, like New York, maybe potentially. I don't know who else you want to throw in there. It's just basically New York is going to stay there. They have to fight for these wins, right? They really do. And I think they are. So I'm going to put them number 4. But number 3 is going to be the Toronto Defiant. Now, putting them higher, it's kind of hard to justify, right? Because it's Dallas and Chalk above them. And they just lost to Dallas. And it wasn't like a close loss either. Dallas just looked better. Dallas looked like a really damn good team. But Toronto, this is kind of a really interestingly great meta for them, it seems. Because Chorong in Twilight, insane. You see fights where Twilight will just go, okay, we're winning this. He pops the rally, he'll just run in. He'll just live somehow. It's immaculate. You have Hisu on the Ashe mostly. Interesting that they're opting not for the Sojourn, but I understand. I do like Hisu's Ashe a little bit more. And I think that Hoppa and Aldo have also been very solid. Hoppa's been a pleasant surprise. I didn't think he would be this good on the Junker Queen, but he's been solid. I don't know. I don't want to talk about Defiant too much because it's just really solid gameplay overall, and I'm quite happy about this team doing this. Okay, back, and because there was an error in my thing, because I actually think the Dallas Fuel are the best team right now. So why do I think that? Chalk have some issues, right? There are question marks in this backline. Finn and Violet have not been perfect right now, this stage. There are huge question marks. Violet beats not great all the time. Finn on the break does not look as comfortable as as your fielder or Chio. Both, like, the backline is a huge diff for Dallas. The Junker Queen's a huge diff for Dallas. Hanbin is probably the best Junker Queen right now, right? I don't think anyone's really going to dispute that. They're not going to dispute him out of top 3 at least. So the only thing that would put Shock above Dallas right now is Proper, right? It was just Proper. And I guess Kilo, right? Sure. Kilo plus Sam. Because Edison's been solid. I think Edison's been decent, and that is a massive upgrade compared to Gurio, and that's all Dallas needed. They just needed him to be decent. And they got it. But unless you think Proper is enough to make up for the difference in Junker Queen and backline, that's the only reason you're putting Shock above Dallas right now. Because the team plays all Dallas. The individual skill on over half the team is Dallas. And Sparkle is still really good. So it's not even like Proper is a big difference maker. But to say that Sparkle isn't like near that level at least. If Proper is S tier, Sparkle is at least A. At least. You can put Sparkle higher at sometimes if you want. I think Dallas kind of solidifies himself as the best. Just because there's too many question marks on Shock. Too many things to take advantage of. This is longer than it should have been. So now I'm going over to the East. Starting at number 7 is the LA Valiant. Okay, so maybe there will be some surprises there. Valiant get leapfrogged by the Charge because they go 3-2 against the Charge and lose. They go 3-2 against Philly and lose. and they just don't have the results. Dia on the Junker Queen looks solid most of the time. I think he's probably better than both Krong and Fury, so better Junker Queen loses, I guess. But it's just not fully there. I don't rate Easyhan that much on the Sojourn still. Um, that's a pretty important thing. Becky is a troll. Becky is just a troll artist. I don't know. He sometimes he goes crazy. Sometimes he's just a troll, and there's no in between. I think those two inconsistencies in the DPS is really hurting them because the Sojourn is so impactful to just get picks. We saw what Jimmy was doing, right? We saw what Jimmy was doing. Valiant don't have Jimmy. That's all I have to say. They don't have. Well, Carpe was not. Mm, mm, but I don't know. Valiant. I see the vision. I see the vision. I like the Dia Junker Queen to an extent. It didn't click against two teams that they kind of needed to beat if they wanted a chance, right? Coming up at number 6 is going to be the Charge. They looked absolutely lost. Their backline looked terror bad against Seoul. It was Seoul, right? It was Seoul. I'm not crazy. No, it was Shanghai. My apologies. The other top team. Their backline was lost. They bounced back miraculously. I was very pleased to see Xerneas play as well as he did against Valiant. That's another part about Valiant that was not great. Lengza got outplayed by Xerneas heavily. Sawson actually did decent though. So funnily enough, the most consistent parts about Valiant is Dia and Sawson off rolling. That's what I love about this team. But yeah, so Charge have Jimmy. Jimmy's going crazy. Aprita on the bench, which I hope we see some Aprita, but right now you can't touch him because Jimmy's going crazy. Choi Se-Wan, I actually expect more from Choi Se-Wan. I don't know if maybe as the team plays together more, as he integrates better into that lineup, it'll be better. But I expect more from him. And Krong, I'm not sold on Krong. He's maybe the worst Junker Queen in the East. I would say he's the worst Junker Queen in the East, I think, right now. But it's a better look than anything that's not Sigma for him. It's his second best character still, probably. So I guess you can include Diva, but that's not a real character in Overwatch 2. The Charge, the DPS diffed Valiant. I don't know if they're going to get any more wins. You can say maybe Spark if they don't look better. You can say maybe Philly if they have an off day or whatever. Those are the only chances. But this is a massive improvement from the Charge because this is their first win since the first day they played. Next up is going to be the Hangzhou Spark. So it's interesting with Spark because they didn't have Alpha E, right? And Alpha E is such a crucial part of this lineup because with no Alpha E, right, with Architect in, Architect played a decent game. He was decent. But that's not what Spark needs. They need Alpha E, or else the enemy team, mainly Seoul and Shanghai, those are who they played, they just ran on the Shy. Shy couldn't do anything because he's getting all the attention. Architect is unable to make up for that. Is unable to get the kills that Alpha E probably would and apply the pressure he would. And so Spark just crumble because without Shy, they're nothing. It'll be interesting to see with Alpha E back where they go. But I put them this low because Philly and Chengdu were already kind of on their heels at times. So I feel like it's appropriate to lower them this much right now. I'm not going to lower them anymore, even though they go 0-2 against the two best teams. I think it's kind of okay because I still think even with Architect, there's a good chance they beat those teams. And there's a good chance they beat the teams above them. It's very hard to gauge right now. But going ahead to number 4 is going to be the Philadelphia Fusion. So first thing, biggest problem with Philly, Fury doesn't know how to hit a Junker Queen ult at all, which is like the most impactful ult in the game right now probably. So maybe get some Karki tips for that. I don't like Carpe playing over MN3. I don't understand it. MN3 should be better. It's not even like Carpe's like going crazy on the Sojourn. Is Carpe the worst Sojourn player that's playing right now? No, I think you can maybe give that to EasyHan. I would take Carpe over EasyHan. That's my final verdict in the East. So I don't know. Philly has some major question marks there. The backline is gone. I'm selling myself and putting Spark ahead of them right now. Honestly, I don't even know. Philly, the saving grace is Zest, and that's it really because they're not playing MN3. It would be MN3, but he's not playing. So the saving grace is Zest, and I guess that's good enough. That's all they got. If they play Charge, I don't know who wins. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. If they play Valiant, no idea who wins that either. The APAC's messed up right now. I'm not gonna lie. APAC is Apac's going through it. But I trust Philly more than I trust both of those teams, which is concerning. Number 3 is going to be the Chengdu Hunters. Now, Chengdu looked horrible against Seoul. They looked really bad. The backline had no clue what they were doing. They didn't look like they had to play the meta. But they're Seoul Dynasty, so I'll give them a little bit of a pass there. But now, they come back, guns a-blazing against Philly. Just domination. Right? Leave was putting on an absolute clinic on the Sojourn. Jinmu on the Pharah. Jinmu on the Genji. Who is this guy? He's so good. He's gunning for a top spot for Chengdu right now. The backline bounced back. They look great. And Gaga on the Joker Queen, solid. I don't know, not like exceptional, but he's solid. Better than Fury. Better than Krong. That's all you. That's good enough for me. I think they're in a pretty good spot right now. I don't know what else to say really. It's Chengdu Hunters. I think that Leave and Jinmu, if they continue to play like this, they're going to be an absolute threat in this meta. Because Jinmu was immaculate. He was outperforming Zest, right? Crazy. Anyway, just the top 2 left. So we have the Shanghai Dragons and the Seoul Dynasty. Shanghai below Seoul. That's just because that's just how it's been this season. Who is actually better of the two? Hard to say. I guess Chengdu played the better opponent in Chengdu, but Chengdu didn't look like they knew what they were doing. So I'm very interested to see when these two clash off, which is going to be the final week. It looks like they play. Yeah, they play the final. It's the last APAC match, actually, is Shanghai and Seoul. Could be very interesting to watch there. But I'm going to give it to Seoul because Stalker, but that's such a hard thing to say because Who Are You is the GOAT. Who Are You is the best Genji to ever touch this game across any era. And Lip, oh my god, Shanghai is so good. I don't know who actually. Could I put Shanghai above Seoul? Maybe, but I'm not going to right now, just because Seoul's record this season so far has been better overall. That's basically what it comes down to. Because they're so even right now, I don't know what to do. Who Are You is immaculate on the Genji, but Stalker is he's more team based. Whenever he had to kill Shy, he was on him like butter on bread, bro. Not even toast. That shit was not heated. Profit on the Brigitte is different. Profit is legit different on the Brigitte. Vindane, I think I rate the Seoul backline more, but I like the Shanghai DPS a little more, and I haven't seen enough about the Junker Queens yet to really tell you what's going on. But I'm gonna go Seoul. It's a toss up. If you say Shanghai, sure, handshake. Good job. Anyway, like this video if you like it. Subscribe for more daily Overwatch League content. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourself a good one. Deuces.